protection of children has in these 7 years not been respected a single second by any of the five.
Of course, the solution to all of this is a continuous, generous contribution by the international community to make sure that these 5.5 million refugees and the other 4 million host communities, individuals, and communities that are hosting them are supported, and that the governments who are hosting these refugees also are supported in the name of burden sharing, responsibility sharing. Without this, we as humanitarian organization, we cannot be responsible for this number of refugees and these big numbers of host communities who have shown generosity during the last 7 years.
The efficacy of the work of the projects that are actually gone into these.
The mathematics are straightforward. We asked for $5.6 billion. We are in May, and we have about 20% of it. The UN programs and the government entities that are supporting refugees, they are running out of funds, or ran out of funds to really support the refugees anymore. So this is an urgent and critical appeal to the donors to really realize the pledges and the commitments and the promises they made in Brussels, and to start releasing the funds to the concerned agencies, be it NGOs or UN or host governments in the region.
In order to raise some of these concerns, I think what's important.
Usually very eloquent way. If we don't get funding rapidly, we will have to close 60 of these centers. Water and sanitation. If we don't get urgently money, we will have to cut off the water services that we currently provide in host communities and in camps, both in Jordan and in Lebanon. If we don't get the funding, we will, as UNICEF, not be able to continue our cash programs.
We'll make the rounds to WFP, UNDP, and then we'll take questions. Thank you very much.
That the lack of funding for WFP will have direct impact on the nutritional status of the people, mainly women and children. But not only that, we've seen that the result of food cuts in the region has an impact on the education, which is something extremely important in this region. And we don't want to end up with a lost generation. With a lost generation. When food is cut, then parents are taking their children out of school. We're exposing those children to jobs which they are not ready for. We're saying early marriages, gender issues that become a serious concern, exploitation and protection issues for the refugees.
Is the head and in charge of UNHCR's?
It costs 50 cents to feed a Syrian inside Syria, while it costs 50 euros to feed a refugee in Europe. So you can see it's 100 times more expensive to feed a refugee in Europe compared to feeding a displaced person in Syria.
The regional refugee resilience plan. We have a number of